So, hi there. My name is Tyler Elam, and I'm a senior at Chattahoochee High School. And so today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my international experiences, and why I think that my international experiences have prepared me for international projects at the next level, like career paths or other internships. So primarily, my first experience on an international project was when I was in seventh grade. I took a mission trip through Global X in my church to Costa Rica, and this was a short week-long trip where we did community service in the community in San Jose, where we visited children and we volunteered in a soup kitchen. We did painting and some work and local work like landscaping stuff we did there. So it was a pretty important trip for me because it kind of was the first time I was exposed to another culture, different people, and kind of different attitudes there. It was the first time I've been in a different political climate. But really the most important thing was that it set me up for my reasons of why I would take Spanish later on in my second trip internationally, which was kind of the biggest deal for me. So this trip ended up causing me to apply for an internship with World Leadership School at Costa Rica again. And so this was not a missed trip. This was a internship that I applied for and was accepted to. I spent 2 weeks with three other students in Costa Rica, in a northern part of the country that was really rural, called El Paraíso. And here we basically went into the local high school and helped introduce technology into the curriculum by working with teachers and students and the principal there. So we basically spent 2 weeks there with a local family and volunteering at the school pretty much all throughout the day. And working with students, and it was a really cool experience for me. Definitely one of the most life-changing things I've done so far. I learned a lot of things on that trip that I think are the most valuable lessons about kind of international culture that I've learned. And objectively speaking, I learned a lot about how to cooperate with others despite cultural barriers, language barriers. That was a big thing that we had to do, but regardless of that, we were able to cooperate. We built a website for the students, and we were able to teach the teachers a lot about how to use the tablets that we brought with us in their classrooms, and kind of write them a little bit of a curriculum on different stuff they could do in class. Another thing that we had to work over was cultural barriers, because a lot of the teachers were pretty resistant to technology being integrated into their whole system because it was so foreign to them, using tablets regularly in class. So eventually we were able to overcome that and work together, and it was a good experience. Personally, one of the coolest things I thought was that for 2 weeks I pretty much had to speak Spanish almost the entire time, because I stayed alone with the family and they could only speak Spanish, and it was one of the most fun things that I've been able to experience. There was a lot of trial and error, but I think that was one of the coolest things I've learned and gotten to experience, is kind of learning a different language and then getting to use it regularly every day. So that was really fun, and something that I got to learn was how to communicate despite cultural barriers. Since that trip, that was my sophomore year, I have gone back to Latin America. This time, my sister and I went to El Salvador in the most recent last year. This was another mission trip, a week-long one, and I think I learned a lot in Costa Rica, but I think the El Salvador trip taught me a little bit stuff differently. It was a different country. It was also in Latin America, but you'd think it would be very similar, but it was actually extremely, extremely different. Very different political climate, and the people were very different. So I got to learn a lot more about their culture and what they struggle with, which is a lot of gang violence and their economy struggles because they don't have the tourism appeal that Costa Rica does. So it was interesting to learn a lot more about that. We volunteered with orphans in the capital city, and we got to work with them. I got to use a little bit more of my Spanish, which was cool. Throughout this whole thing, definitely after my second experience, I kind of made a commitment to myself to finish out Spanish in high school, take AB Spanish, and then definitely become fluent in Spanish, and hopefully the next 2 years. That's kind of my goal. But all of this kind of lends itself to a commitment I have where I've kind of decided that I think after all this experience, I'd love to go into an international field, like international business or foreign affairs, just because of everything I've learned and everything I've learned about culture, especially Latin American culture. I just think it's really cool, all the experiences I've gotten to have. So I think that all these tools that I've gained from my past experiences should benefit me well in the foreseeable future, where I pursue, hopefully, a career international base where I can use my Spanish, and also potential future service projects I do where I hope to return in the same region and kind of get to go back and speak some Spanish and do some more service projects. So yeah, thank you.